So we're going to get into the actual building of the business. This is the important part, right? I made you sit through all the other stuff to get to this point. So this is how I've built my business so far, and I didn't just come up with it overnight. Okay, I watched everybody who had done it and been successful and got to Royal Crown Diamond, and my sister and I did it together, and then we said, and Sharon, how did they get there? And we listened to them and we watched them, and it always came back to the same thing. You have people over, you share the oils with them in a very simple way, you sign them up, you teach them to sign other people up. That's it. We kept trying to overcomplicate it, like the parade float and the sandwich board. We kept trying to do that, and then we're like, no, this is how everybody has done it. Okay? So I'm standing here today giving a business presentation. This would not be the way that you sign someone up for the oils, right? So this is not how most people, don't duplicate this. That's why we're videotaping it. What you want to duplicate is what I'm about to show you, okay? So building your business, it's not rocket science. It's totally not. I tried to make it that, okay? But here's the 5 basics, okay? Use the products. Like I said, if these products have not helped you in any way, this is not the business for you. Plain and simple. Okay, so if you don't love the products, please don't give them to other people. 2, share the products with others and invite. I'm going to go into inviting in detail in a second. But sharing the products with others doesn't mean going up to someone and saying, here's the oils, here's an invitation. There's an art to sharing the oils with others, and it's just from the heart, however it occurs to you. I was just telling Kathy that at a staff meeting the other day, I knew the teachers were going to be mad at me because there's a new assessment that we just came out with. And I knew the teachers were going to be upset, and so I started the meeting with a bottle of Stress Away oil because I knew it would make them take a deep breath. Okay, and I said, my name is Messenger, don't shoot me, here's the Stress Away oil. Okay, and that's just from my heart. That's how I talk to my staff, and that's how I would use the oil myself. I'd be sitting there in a meeting like, oh my God, I need Stress Away. That's how I shared it. I diffuse in my office every day because I love to diffuse, and it makes me feel good. And then people come in and go, I want one of those diffusers. So you just do the things you do if you love the products. I post on Facebook all the time about weird things I'm doing with the oils. And that's how we share. And then you have at least one Essential Oils 101 per month. If you're new, like some of you are, you're people. I have events every month, Gina has events every month, Lorna has events every month, Sharon has events every month. So if you don't quite understand it yet, then you bring your friends to their event. Bring your friends to the events that are already happening. That's why we have them, so that you can bring your friends. Okay? And then you follow up with your people. You say, did you get your kit yet? We have follow-up letters that I'm going to give you today, and I have a whole follow-up checklist, which is the second page you have. And then the last thing, teach this model to others. This model is not hard. So you don't have to separately teach it to them. By doing these 4 steps with them, they've already learned the model. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to then go say, okay, here's the model. If they've come to your event, they've already seen it. If you share it on Facebook and that's how they found your event, they've got the first 2 steps down. They've been to your event and they can bring their friends back, they've got the 3rd step down. The hardest part is probably follow-up, but there's not really an art to it. We just have a couple easy ways for you to do it, okay? And then you've already taught it. So I think that's the important part is they're watching what you do. And if you're running around naked, running down the street with like Young Living written on you, they're not going to do that with you. Okay?
You never know.
So do these, well, yeah. And we don't know if we want those people in our if they're willing to do that with you. Okay, so it's not rocket science. So you don't quite need this yet, but what you do need is to see how I invite people. So this is also not rocket science. This is the invitation I use. And the reason that other people can do it is I just give it to them and they can make copies of it if they're coming to my event. Or if they want to host their own event, all I have to do is send them the Word doc and they just change the date and time. This isn't the only way to do it. My sister came up with another one recently that's really cool. It's like a postcard and you would just put it on cardstock and write the date on the back. So it doesn't matter what the invitation is, it just matters that you always have them on you. And there's a reason for that. If you are, like, let's say I'm at my school and I'm at that staff meeting and I pass around the Stress Away oil, and somebody says to me, I really want some of that oil and I want that diffuser you have in your office. If I have this on me or in my bag or in my office, I can just hand it to them. Whereas if I say, oh yeah, I'm going to get you an invitation, I've given myself more work because now I have to remember I have to give them an invitation and they might have forgotten. So if you always have the invitations with you, you don't really have to work as hard. It's better than a business card, and I'll tell you the reason why. That's not to say don't get a business card. I have business cards upstairs that I hardly ever use. That's why they're upstairs in my office. But if I give them a business card, I haven't invited them to an event. And that's how this process works, is you have to invite them to come. Okay? So I'm going to give you a copy of my invitation just so you can see it. And like I said, I have all your email addresses now, so you'll all get a copy of this, and this can become your invitation. Or if you don't like it, I won't have hurt feelings, you can make your own invitation. But just make sure it's something accessible to other people. So for example, if you go to Etsy and you buy these really fancy invitations, is that accessible to the people, to other people? Most likely not.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
somebody said, this is a beautiful invitation.
Oh, I'm so glad. This is what we call clip art. I went on the Microsoft Word and I inserted a picture and then I just typed over it. Yeah, if you go and buy fancy invitations, that's one less way you're not duplicable now, right? So you always want to do something that's easy for somebody else to do. If you send a photo of the essential oils to an artist and have them painted in pastel and hand it out to everybody, nobody else can do that. So just do a simple invitation. Okay. There's really 3 ways. You really have to invite somebody 3 ways. And what I mean by that is, if you just send this in the mail to somebody with no personal note or no personal follow-up, it's just like anything else they get in their Facebook invite, whatever. The best way to invite someone is to have a face-to-face conversation with them. And usually it's because they're interested, because I have this one, I'm a literacy coach, that's my job. So I have a group of literacy coaches that work in the district. And this one coach always tells me, you smell so good. Because every time I come into the meeting, I give her a hug, and she's always like, you smell so good. And I say to her, it's essential oils. If she doesn't ask me a follow-up question, I'm not going to hand her an invitation, right? But if she says to me, so where do you get those? That's a perfect time to say, actually, I share them with people all the time, and I have an event at my house every month. Here's an invitation. Or if you're not having an event at your house, but you know Sharon is, or Gina is, or Lorna is, then you say, oh, my friend Lauren's having an event at her house, and I have an invitation with me. Here, come with me. Okay, that's how you invite someone. But don't just hand them the invitation and let it die. 2 days before, text them. So are you coming with me? Or email them, hey, did you look at the invitation? Do you want to come? It's all about being personal. And that's what I mean when I earlier said I learned how to be a better friend and a better person. Yeah. Those are skills that I didn't have. I'm a very solitary, independent person. And I never knew the joy of being together with other people until this kind of forced me to. Not that I didn't love being with people. Like I said, I love kids because they're so much easier to get along with. But now I understand the value of people because I wasn't that great of a person to be with. So it wasn't their fault.
The adults aren't that bad.
Yeah, adults aren't that bad. I like you guys. But I know I was doing the raindrop technique. One of our upline came and trained us in the raindrop, which is a massage technique you can do with the oils. And I was doing the raindrop to Heather, and Sharon said something like, how are you doing? Because she knows I hate touching people. Like, don't touch me. It's gross. I hate feet. I hate everything. Like, I'm just, like I said, I'm not the most warm and fuzzy person. And Sharon's like, how's it going? And I'm like, this is the nicest thing I've ever done. So it's nice. It'll open up your heart. So be personal. That's what it's about. So 2 simple keys to inviting. Always have the invitations with you. Make sure you follow up with the invite. Because people want to come. Actually, I have to tell this. Last night, so I had emailed Margie, the invite to the business meeting. And she said, okay, I'll let you know if I'm going to come. Now, if you live out of a place of fear, what I want to tell you is sometimes you're scared to share with other people because you think, what if they don't like the oils? What if they think they're stinky? What if they don't want to come to my business meeting? What if they get mad at me for asking them? I mean, we could play that game all day. But the only difference between people who are successful and people who aren't is the people who aren't give in to their fears. The people who are successful have the fears and do it anyway, right? It's not that they got rid of fear, it's just that they don't let it rule. So anyway, so last night I text Margie and I'm like, are you coming to the business meeting? Because I hadn't heard from her. I could have let fear take me. She thinks I'm stupid for inviting her. She doesn't like me. She doesn't want to come. She thinks business is stupid. Like, I could have gone there. And then she texts me back and she's like, yeah, I'm coming. And I'm like, awesome! So if I didn't ask her, you know, it's like we always build it up in our head bigger than it is. A year ago, I would have never asked her to come to the business meeting because I would have let the fear rule. I would have been like, she probably doesn't want to know about the business. But now I'm like, this is who I am. I'm not going to be afraid of what I do and what other people want to know. And she wanted to know, so she's here. You also have to remember it's not just about you. If you don't offer the oils to someone, they might really want them and you just don't know. Because I have a person at school who for years has smelled my diffuser. I didn't even know she liked it. And 2 days ago, she's like, I want one of those diffusers. So you can't judge what other people are thinking, is basically what my long way of saying, don't judge other people's thoughts. Okay, moving on. Any questions about inviting?
When you thought wouldn't order,
yes.
Money Constraints was the first one to sign up and buy.
Exactly, totally. Esther?
I do have a question. How far out do you set your dates?
I always have 2 events planned, and I'll tell you the reason why when we get to the script. I have to have at least one planned because I have to have an invitation, right? But then you want to have the next one planned because at that event, you're going to give them the next invitation. That's the first step of follow-up, but I'll get to that. So I always have at least two planned. My sister and I usually combine with people, like she brings people to mine, I bring people to hers. So I usually have like 4 events planned because I know her 2 and my 2. But if you're not having your own events yet, you just have to make sure you know when is Sharon having her next event? When is Lauren having her next event? Print the invitation, give it to people. Okay, that's what we want you to do. Don't think, oh, I don't know if it's okay to bring people to Sharon's house. Yes, that's the point of having it. Okay.
January 31st.
Yay, and I have one here on January, oh no, in San Bruno on January 31st.
Can I just say one thing
Yes.
really quick? You guys will actually be able to use this tomorrow if you want and keep it on hand because I have whiteout. You could either white out the date or if you want to come to this event, use it. But what I'm suggesting is if you white out the date, you can make 100 copies
And just
you can
write it in.
it in. Use this
Exactly.
for eternity. It's that simple.
Use it for eternity, exactly. White it out and make a copy with your date.
And every time you want to invite someone, you're like, oh, write in the date. I'm having someone January 31st
Yeah.
and just write it right there.
So this is my next,
To put a sticker right on it.
Exactly.
or a sticker.
Exactly.
I used to address labels and just put my
Oh, the address labels, perfect.
yeah, and just put my name and member number.
Because, yeah, exactly. Because here's the truth. The more simple it is, the more other people will do it. Okay? This is my next Martinez event. So, of course, here at my house in Martinez. So, if you want to bring anybody, here's the invite. Or if you want to use this to make your own invite, do it. And I'm also sending you a doc. But Gina and I also have one on January 31st in San Bruno. And Sharon, where's yours on January 31st?
In Pacifica.
Pacifica. Okay? So, here's the thing I passed out before. It's the top sheet. This is your checklist for having an event. It's just this top part. It's very simple. This is what you must do every time you introduce someone to the oils at your house. Don't do a make and take party. Don't do I'm going to teach you everything about gut health. Don't do, we're going to make soap. Okay? That is not the first way you introduce people to oils. That's the second way. That's what you do once they've signed up. But for the first time, this is how you do it every time, because that's what creates duplication and growth. Okay? Here's the checklist. You will need a script, which I have a copy for each of you today. You will need the premium starter kit with the diffuser and the oils, which most of you have already. If you have an old one, it's okay. Buy the new 2 oils that come in the new kit. If you bought your kit before November, you probably have the old kit. That doesn't mean you can't use it. It just means buy 2 new bottles of oil that are in the new kit and stick it on top of it. Don't make it complicated, because if you make it complicated, nobody else is going to want to do it with you. Okay? The next thing you're going to need is product guides. Gina, will you do me a favor? If you go up into my office in the closet, on the shelf, I have product guides. I just want, if you could just get me one for an example. And then you're going to need the Everyday Essentials booklets, and I'll show you what those look like. This comes with the kit, but you can order, I think, a 20 pack or 30 pack they come out to like $1.50 each.
They're actually 50 cents each.
Oh, 50 cents each. So I let people take these home at the event. I don't let them take the product guide home. Every once in a while you get a pushy person who forces you to let them take the product guide home. I'm just kidding, Margie. Are you looking at me? No, it was funny. Margie's like, I'm taking this, I'm circling everything I want, and then when I get my own product guide, you can have it back. But you don't have to give me your own product guide. I'm just giving you a hard time. Because the product guides are $3 a piece, so they're a little more expensive. Once, we're making 100 grand a month, let everybody have the product guides. But for now, it's probably more cost effective to let them take this home. Okay. Yeah. This is a This is 50 cents, and it tells you everything that's in the kit, but it also gives you what are essential oils, how to use them. So even if they don't sign up that day, it's really nice for them to have this at home. If they do sign up that day, it's really nice for them to have this at home too. And they'll get one of these with their kit. But if they get the kit, guess what? Now they have two. Now they can have a person over. Okay? So that I always give. Here's the next thing. Now, the lovely piece is these are out of stock right now.
Right.
So don't freak out though, and don't say, oh, that's terrible or whatever. Guess what? All this has in it is the 10 oils in the kit. This piece of paper has the 10 oils in the kit. So I didn't make copies of this for you because I forgot. I meant to make copies of them for you, but I'm going to email it to you. So if for some reason this is out of stock, this is all you will need to hold your class, this piece of paper. It has the single oils, it has the blends. Okay, and I'll email it to you. So if that's out of stock, this is the better option, I think, because it looks a little more professional. But Margie, are you using this sheet of paper already?
Sure.
Because it's easy to use. And it's got just simple explanations of the oils.
Is that updated?
It's updated, so it has new oils on it.
Okay.
It's not as complicated as the old one was. So
Okay.
what I did with this one is I just took what was in here and put it onto paper since they were out of stock. So it says, like for lavender, topical, aromatic, dietary. That means you can use it in all 3 ways. And then I gave like 5 ways you could use it. Cuts and scrapes, sunburn, sleep aid, moisturizer. Then people can just look at it and go, oh, how can I use my lavender? Oh, it's calming. I'm going to inhale it, or whatever, when they first get their kit. This is the product guide, and this is the base of your entire class. The other reason I don't want people to take them home is not because it's $3 a pop, but because then when I have the next class, I won't have enough and I'll have to order more. Because this is the basis of the class, okay? So I'm going to hand you a script right now. And I'm not going to teach you the class, but I'm going to show you how this product guide runs the class for you. Back in the day, Young Living didn't have such beautiful materials, but now they have these really gorgeous materials. And so when my sister and I said, how are we going to run the class, we started to realize the whole product guide is mapped out perfectly to teach a class. We start by talking about Gary Young and the farms. Then we talk about the seed to seal process and how they're the best oils in the world. Then we show them the farms. So we just go through the product. We don't go through every page. We get to what are essential oils, and then we go to this and start passing around the oils. That's the basic. I mean, you'll get the script and there's more, but that's the basic, is you just use the guide. In the back of the guide, and we mention this in the script as well, they have all these, how to order, how to sign up, what's essential rewards. And when they get to the sign up part, and you go to the computer and they're ready to sign up, you can use this to help you. So everything's in the product guide. That's why we're using it now. It's a great product guide. They did a really, really nice job on this product guide because they weren't bad before, but this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous product guide. So let me give you the script. Don't read it now because you're going to have to read it probably 5 or 6 times before you do an event, and it would probably be kind of a waste to do it now because we can just talk you through it. But
teacher.
this is, well, part of being a teacher is being a little bit bossy.
Yeah, we're not doing that. I never experienced that in my life.
So this is the script. And when I first did this, I said, I don't want to sit there and read a script because then people are going to don't think I don't know what I'm talking about. And I didn't understand then that it's good not to be the expert. Like I said, here, I am being the expert of business with you guys because you're already in the company and you've expressed an interest in the business. I would not speak off the top of my head this way if it was the first time that people had come to experience the oils. Because if I act like I'm acting today, the first time people experience the oils, they're going to think that they could never do this business because I'm a teacher, right? I've been trained to talk to people. Okay, you can give them the gift. Then the one at the bottom I really like because oftentimes I do it myself. I'll go through a day and be like, I've only used 1 oil. I have 80 oils in my kitchen. Why have I not put on another oil? So sometimes people need like an action plan, like, hey, let's come up with the 3 oils you're going to use for whatever. Or let's make a diffuser blend together. Like just getting people into it because it's not something they've ever done before. Yeah, it's not something they've ever done before, and they need to know, well, here's the thing. The reason we made a new script is because we were realizing that people get way too intense about the oils. They'll think, peppermint, what's that for? oh yeah, I can only use that for stomach or shoulder pain. So that's all I'm going to use it for. And so the new script tells people, use whatever oil you have for whatever you have. It's don't make it so complicated. Is peppermint a good oil for the stomach? Yes, we know that. Scientific research shows that. But if you want to try it in your diffuser or for a headache or to make your feet smell better or to use it as a perfume, try it in any way. That's what you're really trying to share with people, because if they think that you're the holder of how to use the oils, then you've done a bad job of being replicable, duplicatable. Okay.
All of these.
Whatever those words are, those big words. Yeah, so do a good job of that. So you want people to know you can use them in any way. Heather, who I love, my really good friend, she says to me, have you ever blended these two oils together? In all the years I've done it, I had never blended an oil together in my diffuser. Because I was like scared of doing the wrong blend or doing the wrong way. And Heather's like, oh, I put Valor and lemon together. It's the best scent ever. And I'm like, I would never put those two together. Now I want to try it.
Which one's together?
Valor and lemon.
Oh yeah.
And she
Jade lemon is even better.
and jade lemon's even better, see? And then the other night, Margie texted me, I just put thieves and lavender together, and I fell asleep, and it was the best night of sleep I ever had. And I'm like, I never would have put those two together, because I was so in my old frame of thinking that there's a way to do oils, and there is no way.
No.
So Margie said, well, lavender is good for sleep, and thieves is good for germs, so why wouldn't you diffuse both at night? And I'm like, yes.
You just have to put Believe on all the time. You wouldn't believe what happens to her.
Oh my
When
gosh.
she puts Believe oil on, she transforms
Okay, when I put
into the party girl.
If I put on Believe oil, I start dancing around, I start singing. So many people in this room have witnessed it. Yeah, I just need to put Believe on every day, and then I'll be mixing oils all the
You've
time.
got to get those go-go boots to go with it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's follow-up.
It's
So-
all good.
Right now, it seems like, oh my gosh, that's so much, but it's on 2 pieces of paper. That's the business. Seriously. That's the way I've grown. I've done tons of other things. I've done expos, I've done fairs, festivals, business card handout, websites, and that didn't grow my business. That was 700 OGV. And then when I started doing this, that's what grew my business. So that's why I want you to know, it seems a little complicated right now because you've taken in all this information in one day, but if it can fit on 2 pieces of paper in a script, it's not that complicated. Vicki Opfer is another person that I really love, and she created the model that she calls heart-centered sharing, and she's also the one that created that graph of the 531,000 versus the 24. And
What's the name again? What's the last name?
Opfer, O-P-F-E-R. And what was I going to say about her? I got sidetracked. Oh,
You were talking about heart-centered sharing.
Yeah, so Debbie's
Well, Vicki Opfer actually got started with herbs,
yeah, she
and
did.
then someone else introduced the oils to her. So you just never know.
Yeah.
You know, people.
I was going to say something about heart-centered sharing. I can't remember what it was. But basically, she made the model of doing this, sharing it with other people, giving them invitations to the next event, and she's also Royal Crown Diamond. And then everybody kind of started following that model. But what I was going to say is with the script, she always tells people, it's going to take you about 10 times doing it to feel comfortable with it. And that's true. I had to have 10 events before I really felt comfortable with having events. So if after the first event you go, oh, that was terrible, I skipped a whole entire page of the script, I didn't tell them about 4 oils, they signed up but I didn't give them an invitation, that's super normal. Super normal. I still do it. I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to give them an invitation. Or, oh man, I didn't even show them how to log back in. So this is like the ideal model. You can still grow if not everything goes perfect. If this is out of stock, if you ran out of an oil, you do what you can. Yes?
I remember my first invitation, and I had 6 gals, so I was really out of my mind. I did it, and it was the old script. And the old script, I'm reading through it, and I only read through it maybe once before, having 5 people there, and I'm reading it, and then all of a sudden I really don't know what that means. It really was a lousy script.
It was.
That word you
But
can't
it was
pronounce.
okay. They still loved me. They still
Yeah, they do. And you know what the best thing about that is, Kathy? I told her that's the best thing that could happen to you because then people go, well, God, I could do this. Yeah, they do, and it's great. It's really great. It's that same thing Mary said. God, if they're doing this.
that.
Yeah.
And when you are doing what you believe and love and want to help people, it doesn't always matter what you
No,
say.
it really doesn't.
It's just going to need to make it easy.
They'll follow your energy. So this is a picture of you kicking your own ass. And there's a reason why I put that there, just to drive it home.
Yeah.
These are 24 activities. If you only want to have 24 people in your organization by the end of the year, do these things first. Seriously. Because you won't grow with these. These are things to do after you have people who are signed up. That's not to say these aren't useful. They're very useful. I have make and takes. I love make and takes. But they're for people who are already using the oils. They've already seen the first way. Because if this is their first introduction to oils, they're going to think they have to have 20 recipes and glass bottles and every oil to be able to do what you do. So you don't start with these activities. You start with the script. And then you can host a make and take. Or like I really know a lot about the stomach because I had a horrible stomach before Young Living. I can invite all of you back over and just talk about the stomach. Because you know that that's not how you introduce people. I'm just helping you because you're already in my organization or because you're in our bigger organization. So these are not what you talk about at the first one. We talk about household and nutrition products within the script, but I don't just have a thing all about thieves for the first event because it's not reproducible. Expos and networking events, do them, but not if you're not doing the first one. So Vicki Opfer always says, Essential Oils 101 or the Heart-Centered Sharing, whatever you want to call it, that is the heart of your business. If you only have an hour a week, spend that hour inviting and planning your event, and then the fourth week, that hour will be having the event. Don't go do an expo for your first, if you only have 4 hours in a month, right? So you can do this, I would say, with as little as 4 hours in a month. The 3 hours are the first couple weeks are just planning your event, making sure you have a kit, and inviting your friends. And then have an hour or two to give the event. So if you only have 5 hours a month, you can do this. You won't have time for follow-up, so the next month you'll have to increase it to 6 hours, just so you have an hour to follow up. But 6 hours a month, right? An hour a week to 2 hours a week. Now, I do it more than that because I look at the comp plan every single day. So you have to add in that little 10 minutes looking at the comp plan. So you grow how you want to grow. Nobody's forcing you. Nobody says to me, Lauren, go watch YouTube videos about the Young Living business. I'm driven by that because I love this business. But nobody's forcing me to do that. But if I don't do the 101, then nothing happens. And I can tell you, you're going to want to quit every single day. Even Connie McDaniel says that. She said even as a platinum or a diamond, she wants to sometimes quit. Because it's hard. And you have to work with people. And you have to make them feel comfortable. And sometimes I wake up on a Saturday morning and go, I don't want to have anybody over because my toilet's dirty and there's dishes in the sink. And I don't feel like cleaning. But then once everybody's here, I am more happy than I ever am. So it's like there's going to be times when you don't feel like doing stuff. I don't feel like doing anything in terms of housework, ever. But it's just, you just push yourself a little bit.
See, you'll
On
get a
those
When I get that
housekeeper.
feeling, I know that's the time I have to push.
Exactly.
Because there's a reason that this is going to be good for me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like
And the best thing is you have oils. So you can put on a little motivation oil, you can put on a little inspiration oil or build your dream and then go forth and clean your toilet and clean your sink and then have people over for oils. So here's the last thing I want to tell you. Personal development is key to this business. Because if you stay stagnant, you're going to stay star or silver or gold or wherever you are. You have to grow. So these are the 3 books I recommend to start. They all are good in different ways, okay? The 4-Year Career is basically what I based this whole entire presentation on. It's a fantastic book. There's a Young Living edition. It's not expensive. You can get the digital copy for $6. And you can have it right on your iPhone or your computer. This is great because it is about network marketing in general, and it goes over pretty much what I said today, but in more detail. The second book is called Making the First Circle Work. Because remember, you're at the top, and everybody signs up under you, so you have to work, or nothing else is going to work beneath you. This is a very simple network marketing book. It's a simplified version. I had already read 4-Year Career, so when I got to this one, I went, not that it wasn't good, it is good, but I went, I kind of feel like I knew that already, but this is really good for someone who has no idea what network marketing is, both of these books. Last one, this is the person who changed my life, Darren Hardy. He came and spoke at the first convention, and he always says, you don't have to know someone personally for them to be your mentor. And I really feel like this is my mentor. Seriously, my sister and I, we listen to his stuff. It's not just for business, it's for life. My friend, I have a very good friend who just went through cancer, and I was like, you need to read this book. Because his basic idea of the compound effect is that something you do every day, a simple habit, compounds over time, either to the negative or the positive. So if you're smoking every day, right, that compounds over time. It's not that one cigarette, it's that 10,000 cigarettes or whatever. If you call and follow up every day, that might not show up in my paycheck this month, but over time it's going to compound through all those ranks. So he's amazing. I love him so much. It's so funny. I have to tell this story. Yes. I went to convention and I met him, and I was so excited, and I got my book signed. I took a picture with him, and I texted it to Sean, and I'm like, look, Sean, I just met Darren Hardy. This is my boyfriend who we have this house together and everything. So he was, I don't know if he was not thrilled with the fact that I'm sending him a picture of myself with a guy or what was going on, but he doesn't write back anything like, oh, that's cool. He writes back, cool pink tie. Because Darren Hardy was wearing a pink tie. So,
A little jealous.
Darren Hardy, Sharon always goes, psst, cool pink tie.
Is that the only thing you come up with?
Yeah. Oh, okay, so here's an important part.
He really is good looking.
Oh, yeah. Okay, oh, then yeah, must have been it.
Yeah. Aside from the pink tie, yeah.
I have 2 things to give you. Actually, 3 things. A big part of making this work, this is honestly the last thing, because I can see that my next slide says thank you. So I know that's my. So this is what's really important. You have to envision what's going to come next and what you want. That's what we started this with, right? Mm-hmm. So you'll see that a lot of people make vision boards. Actually, Darren Hardy hates vision boards, but I actually depart from him on that. Because the reason is because... I hate them. I know you do. Some people do. I like them, and I don't look at mine all the time, but the act of making it puts your dream in your mind onto a visual. Because if you can think your goal, but do you know that even people who have goals in their mind, there was a statistic I was reading from Darren Hardy the other day that he said people who actually write it or put it out somewhere perform 20% better than people that just have the goal in their mind, because it makes it something, it makes it tangible. So we actually got poster boards for all of you. They're just little ones, okay? And you can make your vision board, and here's what I want you to put on it. You can put anything you want. On my vision board, there's an engagement ring. That's what I'm waiting for. I think there's Hawaii, there's me in my job, there's all sorts of different visions. It's not just for business. But here's what I want you to put on your vision board. This is an actual Young Living check. The dollar amount has been whited out, and the name that the check is to has been whited out. My sister made these for you guys. On your vision board, I want you to put your goal for what your next goal is. So don't put the $150,000 a month. We all want that, right? Put the next rank, or the rank that you see yourself hitting within this year, and look at that income disclosure statement and put that amount on the check and glue it to your vision board, and then put all your other stuff around it. And then here is the real tangible part. Here's your goal worksheet, okay? Today's date and your current rank. Maybe you're just a wholesale member, a distributor, or maybe you're already an executive. Then you put your goal rank and when you will reach the goal. Because I surpassed my goal for executive. My goal was to be executive by December 30th of this past year, and I think I hit it October 30th. And I looked back at my goal worksheet and I went, oh my God, because I had forgotten I even wrote it down, but it does come true. It comes true with every goal I've set. And then, and this is just going through the comp plan. What would the total OGV be at that goal? This is the way you learn the comp plan. How much money do you have to increase by to reach that goal? And then how many people do you need at 170 PV to be at that goal? This is simple. Everyone can do this. And I'm going to send you the electronic copy, and I want everybody to make this and make this because it's really important. Because it'll get you where you want to go. Don't feel bad if you don't have silver in mind. If you just have star in mind, that's a great goal to have. Because that means you're going to get a $50 or $100 check in the mail. And that's really a big deal. Okay? So I'm going to give you those. You're going to take a vision board. And then again, thank you. Cool. So much. Thank you. So much.